Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my god. It's Gundam time. Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury, episode 23. Relentless Tenderness? I'll have the title there. By my surprise, apparently next week's the final episode. Damn, I thought it was 25. I'm mistaken. Anyway, this episode. Oh my god. Okay, so a lot of things are going on in this episode. We have the fight between Suletta and Eric. You know, she's a 4-year-old girl trapped inside of a Gundam, so I don't like to attack her, so to speak. But the fact of the matter is this: for all she says in this episode, for all you're saying about we can't do that for mommy. Oh, you're still killing people. So, if they don't. So, and you know what's really stupid? She says in the actual episode, she says, if they don't prevent mommy from doing what she wants, we won't kill them. Basically, it's not gonna happen. So, what happened at the end of this episode? I'm sorry. I really am. I don't want to sound cruel, and this is Prospera's the villain, okay, of this show. She is, okay. So having any sympathy for her is really, really hard to do. I feel sympathy for her, yes. 21, 23 years ago, during the Vanadis incident, you lost your husband, you lost your friend, you lost your mentor to the Benedict group. You wanted revenge. Okay. But using the mind of your daughter who died and planting it inside of a Gundam, I'm calling foul. Not only am I calling foul, I'm calling it right now. That's villain behavior. It is. And but let's get to the nitty-gritty of what happened in this episode. So, the other fight we have is Londra and Gruul. I'm like, emo central. And he's emo. Can't go against that. But that fight was pretty. We got to see the Schwarzenegger in full action. Kind of an interesting Gundam, if I must say so myself. It has these funnels, but also has a sword. But it has this, it's a sword and a gun. Very interesting. It was fighting. It was pretty cool in action. I wish it was a better pilot than piloting it. But regardless, it was cool to see it in action. The fight between him and Gruul was pretty good. Not as great as Suletta and Eerie, but it was pretty good. They're going back and forth. You killed her father, blah, blah, blah. Marrying the whole witch, what have you. And when it seems like he's going to kill Gruul, and you have a nice mini flashback of when Londra became Gruul's little brother, and he hugs him. And there's a scene where he stabs him with the Shorit's sword, and he hugs him again. And out of nowhere comes Phyllis, the girl. I think her name is Phyllis. Let me just make sure. Yeah, Felsi, not Phyllis. My bad, Felsi. So Felsi comes in for the same, shooting these things to stop the Gruul's mobile suit from exploding, and just calling out both of them. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? I was like, yo, This broad, we could have literally had deaths in this episode. We only had one. Now, the rest of the details of the episode, aside from that, we have the crew trying to get inside the Quiet Zero system. This diatribe between Eerie and Suletta, I'm like, okay, can we stop this now? And listen, I don't want to sound cruel based on what Eerie did in this episode, but this is the way I look at it. It's called you reap what you sow. Okay, Prospera, well, guess what? This is what happened. You don't go ahead and do stuff like this and expect it to be all hunky-dory. I'm sorry. I can't have sympathy for you. I just can't. The way you treated Suletta, the things you've done, you're the villain of the freaking show. And this is what happens. But the conversation between Eerie and Suletta is... Suletta's like breathing heavy because she's piloting Calibran and all that other stuff. And she's like, oh, like I said before, it was like, listen, what you're doing is contradictory. He's saying, oh, we won't kill anyone as long as they don't stop mommy. Come on, just stop it. But the fight continues, and then eventually what happens, even though, Suletta's spilling her guts out here about caring about, Eerie and Prospera and all that stuff, and it looks like Eerie's going to attack her and the crew, marrying in that group. They're in this little tiny little thinky ship because they don't want to Quiet Zero. All of a sudden, the system stops. Out of nowhere. And that's when the crew gets on the system, the ship of the Quiet Zero system. And we have a back and forth going on here. While that's happening, Deling's on a ship trying to talk to the Assembly League. And the deal is he wants them to just stop. They'll come out with a deal and so on and so forth. There's a guy who's in cahoots. You remember those witches from the Pell Industries? He says no. Because the Benerick group has gotten too big and he wants to take them out. They have a very large laser cannon. I'm not saying it's as big as the laser cannons we've seen in Gundam. Like Barge from Wing, or any other laser cannons we've seen in Zeta, in the original Gundam series, But it was still pretty impressive. They're going to shoot them down. So that happened. They get on the Quiet Zero system. They have a confrontation with Prospera. And, and here's the thing with Prospera. She says, oh yeah, I love Suletta. That is, listen, I want to believe her. I do, but I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't believe you. Because I've already established this. You are the Gendo Ikari of this series. You are doing evil, manipulative things to people. You used your own daughter as a freaking weapon. And you want me to believe you that, honestly, you love Suletta? Really? You do? That's bullshit. But I digress. Eventually they get a loophole. They're trying to shut it down by putting in this code. It doesn't work. Eventually what happens, Marine's able to log into it, the back door, and put in a password from her mother. Able to shut down. Now, they shoot Prospera, and she's got like an angry face on her face. But remember, she always wears a mask. And Marine's there trying to grab her hand, saying, we'll all live together as a family. But, unknowns to them, deal by the Pell Group, the League, they're going to shoot this cannon at the Quiet Zero system. Eerie knows this, so she activates the mobile suit she has to block the beam. I think we all know where this is going. The beam hits. This is a very powerful laser. Not as powerful as most of them. Most lasers you see in Gundam series, they're very large and in width and just like, evaporates everything. Even in Seed, the laser in Seed, that was really impressive. That destroyed everything. You even see people exploding and shit. This one wasn't as like that. It was just like a white beam. Eerie blocks it with her mobile suits, and it seems like she stares at Suletta and smiles, and then Aerial Gundam has been destroyed. And then you see Prospera's got this pain on her head. She's got a red mark here. And then she screams Aerie, and Suletta sees the remains of Aerial Gundam. And then Prospera screams her name. Aerie's name. Overall, I found this to be a very impactful and powerful episode. Now, next week's the final. I didn't think this. I thought that was going to be the episode 25. Apparently not. So, I wasn't too fond of the whole ghoul. It was just like a waste of time. Come on. Like, really? Now, I have my theories of what this final episode's going to be. Delling's on a ship. I don't know if that's going to have any repercussions. But he's like really out of it. He's like barely able to get on the ship. But I have a sneaky suspicious feeling this is what's going to happen. Suletta and Calibran is going to go towards what remains of Aerial Gundam. She's going to touch it. It's going to briefly activate. And something is going to go inside of Calibran. And this something will allow Suletta to become... New types don't exist in this series. But basically, she'll become what Aerie was. She'll be able to do what Aerie was able to do. Pilot the Gundam without succumbing to the effect. I think. I don't know. But this was... I knew to a certain extent this was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen in this regard. But another thing to remember is this is Gundam. There's always some douchebag with a laser cannon somewhere at the climax ready to fire it. Happened in Seed. It happened in Zeta. It happened in the original Gundam series. Double Zeta, not so much. They just dropping colonies. That's surprising. This is the first Gundam series. Well, I believe they didn't do it in IPO. No colony drop. Oh, we have a laser though. Overall, I thought the episode was good. You have the contradictions of Marine's mother and Prospera, Aerie and Suletta. And it's pretty obvious now. If Suletta goes and attacks these league guys, that's going to be interesting to see. Because if she's able to do it, kudos. But I thought it was decent. It's just, at the same time, regarding Eerie, regarding Prospera, it's really hard. For me personally, it's really hard to have sympathy for them. Listen, I feel bad for Prospera. She lost her daughter, and she did what she did. But in the grand scheme of things, it's morally and unethical to do something like that. You might love Suletta, you might love Eerie, but the fact of the matter is, you used them, and this is the consequences. You lost your daughter now. Got one other. Hopefully, I don't think Suletta's going to die, though. Let's just put it that way. I think Eerie was the one that had to go, because there was two of them. So, this is Bankai 922. Comment section. Your thoughts on Prospera. I think, I just can't feel bad for her. I'm sorry. I'll see you guys later.